This Daf Yomi Yerushalmi in the article Oz V'Hara edition. We are in Daf Lamed Aleph and Rav at Halacha Hey Halacha Sakdera, which in the Vilna is Daf Chav Hey Amar Aleph. Also, amazingly enough, Halacha Hey Halacha Sakdera, different types of pots. Shavirim Mutachim, we took them off the fire and they're boiling. So it's a Kli Rishon, which is just aleish. Loitin Tochel Tavlin. You can't put in there herbs because the herbs will be cooked. I've noticed to talk a kara, but you can put the herbs into a plate or into a serving dish, which are both going to be cliches. You put the herbs into anything, it's here, except for something which has vinegar or has brine in it, which evidently cooks much more readily. The Bnei Moshe points out that Aresha Kai Ulkulu the Poik. He's going to Kula, saying that if a Shafil B'Kli Rishon rises the tavlin, he can put the tavlin to Kli Rishon, Kusi Davashesh B'Chometz V'Tzir, unless there's vinegar or brine, Shevash's tavlin, which will cause the tavlin to cook, Vein Halach Rabuda. Okay, says the Gemara. What about Iri Kli Rishon? Can you pour from the Kli Rishon on the tavlin from above? Rabbi Yonah Amar Osir. Rabbi Yonah says Osir. The Iri Kli Rishon. Pouring is like the Kli Rishon itself. The evidence of Rabbi Yonah is from here, from the case of Kachim, where you pour Kachim into a Kli Cheres, into a pottery vessel. So the halacha is that the Kli Cheres must be broken. It can't be used again. Obviously, talk about when it becomes nosa or such like. Then it becomes the kachim inside becomes puzzle, and therefore there's no hagola by klicheres. It's got to be broken. When you cook it, or even you pour it into a boiling hot substance, they are it cooks. It cooks into the pot, and therefore the klicheres has to be broken. Says, well, that's not necessarily proof. I'm Rabbi Yossi, time of klicher is bolea. The klicher absorbs the taste, and it's going to come out later on when you put in a new kachim and paslet. Tavli in him is mashlim, but who says that that spices, the herbs, get cooked in the klicher? That's not necessarily the case. Hey, Rabbi Yossi Rabun. Rabbi Yossi Rabun asked, didn't we learn that this is also true by a clean koshes? That you don't have to break it, but it needs hagola. It has to be kosher. So islach lemeim clean koshes but bolea. Can you say the clean koshes is bolea? In other words, there clearly the issue is not that it gets absorbed. Even something cold, it doesn't. Clean koshes doesn't get absorb anything cold. It only absorbs if something's hot. Because it gets cooked in. So therefore, it has to be that the Iri Klirishon can cook into the vessel, and therefore we see the Iri Klirishon is Vavasha. Malaros Minakuach. What is the halacha to pour from the flow? So it says that the article here changed the girsa based on Ramban. Ran Mal Laros Imakiluach. And the question is going this: can you pour the tavlin in one fell swoop together with the flow of the cooked dish? Such as you put the tavlin, the herbs and spices in the air space in the flow as it's flowing from the Kli Rishon into the Kli Sheni. Even you don't change the gear. So the question is, what's the din of the kiluach? Is the kiluach itself considered to be Kli Rishon or Kli Sheni as it's in the air? And where it says that obviously that's the same machlokas. Rabbi Rabbi Hillel, Malchus Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yoni. You know that the Kli Rishon, it's the Iri is mevasho. When it hits the pot below, so it certainly is mevasho in the air. It's Kli Rishon. According to Rabbi Yossi, it's no. Since it's not mevasho, it's the pot. Must the Iri has the status of a Kli Sheni. Rabbi Yitzchak Bar Gufta, Balkum Rabbi Mona, us came with Shabbos Chai B'Shum Mevasho. If you do this on Shabbos, you in other words, it's either Rishon considered to be Mebashal Daraisa or is it Archak Darabana? Lest you can be Mebashal. Let's came Basal B'Chalav. What about Basal B'Chalav? Chaim Shuvashil, Rishon of let's say according to the Chalav on Basal, right? It's Chaim Shuvashil Basal Chalav. Amalai Kaida Ma Rabbi Zira Ezu Chol Boror. He said no. It's like Rabbi Zira said, what's considered to be definite chol, definite cooking. Kosher that's uh, uh, it's he says in Maseches Chala. Um, what's the context there? Chol Kamer Bar Shechai B'Chala. Okay, so what's called bar considered to be true baking. Kosher or mahach tachta. Anytime the fire goes underneath it. Is it tafshil bar? What's tafshil bar? Bar here meaning the raisa, that it's definitely cooking or chayiv. Kosher or mahach tachta. Anytime the fire is going underneath it. Anything else is not going to be bishul the raisa in order for you chayiv on Shabbos. Remember, chol netzachut davar sheish b'chomer v'tzir, chomer tzitzir. Uh, 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 the uh, uh, the Mashbiach says that chometz v'tzir is not talking about a regular amount. It's more than regular. Evidently, lots of cooked dishes have chometz and tzir, but it's talking about where there's extra special amount. Daiti Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda melach ketzir and yain kechometz. According to Rabbi Yehuda, uh, the it looks like it's a base in the Mar itself. Melech bitzir yain bichometz, but the carbon Ada changes the girsa to keh, and I think Moshe must as well. So to a cuff. So they even wine, an excess of wine, excess of salt, obviously because that's Shbiach pointing out has to be more than normal. That has the same halacha as vinegar. Okay, or as brine. Halacha above. You don't put a vessel underneath the candle to collect the oil which is dripping because oil is muksa. V'im nasri b'yoyim mutter. If you put the kli there before Shabbos, it's okay. As the Korban Ed explains here, he holds either he holds ein tzar klinita or tzar chadavanita. Can only move a vessel for the purpose of which can move itself, and the oil is muktzah. Or it's he holds also about the kli me'echono. You can't nullify kli from its purpose. If a kli had a purpose before, it was purposeful beforehand on Shabbos, then you move that underneath the oil, which you can't move on Shabbos. You're about to the kli from its use, and you're not allowed to do it on Shabbos. But yeah, mutter. They put there for more Shabbos, so then it's mutter, of course, to leave it there over Shabbos. Very nice matter, but you can't derive benefit from that oil because that oil is not prepared for usage. It's hukta la isuro. And Chagai boy, right? Chagai asked. I should say the Gemara says, "Chagai boy, cover me by them." What about the candle got extinguished before you Shabbos, but you were not aware of it? It's vadim mishachashecha. You only came aware of it after dark. Chavraya bo. Chavraya asked, "Cover b'Shabbos. These vadim b'Shabbos haba." Uh, the uh, the the Tuv Yerushalayim says the carbon A says like an empty cylinder. Well, okay. What about if you say that that's mutter? What about if you didn't find out till next Shabbos? He says the Tuv Yerushalayim says that's Machlokes Abaye Rava by Yerushalmi Das. The according to Baye and the way we hold Yeush Shlomi Das Lo Avi Yeush. So therefore, well, you became aware next Shabbos, but you didn't know before Shabbos began. So therefore, it's not it's you can't use it. He brings down. Discussion maybe could be the super Mamoina, and perhaps not the same sugar as Yerush. And then he says it could be that it has to do with Brera. And uh, since it's the Rabbanon, so ultimately it could be Yesh Brera. And it's clarified that it was Mutter from Bishor Shabbos. Very interesting possibilities of interpreting the Lumdus here. So the next line, it's possible to learn that it's an answer to these questions. Most unfortunately, it's a separate statement. So let's answer this question. There's nothing which is be'ain, meaning that it was clearly there and before Shabbos could have been perceived since it was there as being mutter. Ve'eina be'echana, it's not considered prepared. Davar echad bilvad. There's only one thing, which is an exception to that rule, which is as Cormier says, "Vein grogos timukim shalosh ragri doichen biyadayim." When you put the figs and grapes on the roof to dry, so that's the archetype of muktzah. Where you doichen biyadayim, there it starts to muchan unless you because for Shabbos, even if they actually were raisins and dried figs for Shabbos, because it doesn't be a dime. But anywhere else, it doesn't matter. You didn't know about it. It's still considered to be muchan. So that would be a resolution to the next to the prior question. So even though you weren't aware of it, it's still considered to be muchan. But as I said, most of the Farshim seem to learn that this is a new thing. There's nothing which is extant. The way the Karma puts it, it's suitable as is, it's completed without needing any further preparation, which is going to be also Lafuki Paris Teva, as opposed to something like Teva, which does require still further fixing, which is not Beichana, which is not considered to be prepared for Shabbos, except for Dover Echad, except for Grogos and Timukim. Hey, so Rabbi Lezer. So Rabbi Lezer has Tari Shemin Bener. What about the oil in the candle, which is suitable as is? It's not considered to be mucha, it's to be mukta. So the answer is the chach nasnu, chen nasnu, mishor rishon shichla bayer. It's that's it says very succinctly. It says l'kach nasnu mitchila baner shir kol b'tocho. It's put there in order to be consumed inside. If I have the outside, but finished. So if you set aside explicitly, well, actually, it's there. Therefore, even if it's left over, also because it has the status of muktzah. Reish Lakish asked the question: what about if you planted wheat in the ground? Obviously, it hasn't sprouted yet. They haven't taken root, I should say. So, they're there. They're prepared. They're considered to be muchan. They're considered to be a muktzah on Shabbos. So again, similar idea. You put it there for the first moment for that purpose. Shichla b'karka, they should be destroyed in the ground. Therefore, they're muktzah b'yadayim. Hey, Simon, arei beitim lefrochim, eggs for chicks. Harei be'enon hein, you put them there for chicks, but then you want to change your mind and eat them. So you can't. Not considered to be permissible. It points out it's during the first 3 days that they've been sat upon. They're not yet considered to be eggs with chicks, so therefore they're still mutter. Yet they're not considered to be permissible for you to take a Shabbos and to use. So So again answers the chayin. You put in there for the purpose to begin with. She also efrech, or they should become chicks, and that's why you can't. They're considered to be like to be a dime. Hey, so Rabbi Sukkah. What about the decorations of Sukkah? And they're not considered to be muchan, even though they're there explicit in front of you. Shani, that's different. Dam Rabbi Avrami. Rabbi Yisrael, brother Rabbi Yisrael said, "Kol shivaim te'el gabi sukkah." For all 7 days, they're bata gabi sukkah. They're huktel mitzvasoi, and you set them aside for the mitzvah, and therefore you can't use them. After the sukkah is over, for sure, no problem. You can use them, not a problem. Hey, Rabbi Chanina asked a question. Hare mukin shis bazu. You have a flock, pieces of felt, which you use for Atmon Shabbos, and they scattered. They're out there, explicit, they are evident, and they're not muchan. So again, I said like Carmen said, taman, but they use them for Atmon. Moshe says that use them in a pillow, and I guess the pillow ripped open. So I wrote on the side that it seems that they're not considered to be chashav, and they're considered to be like sticks and stones, which are muktzah on Shabbos. Um, so the Gemara said, and that's what Gemara seems to answer. Hacha b'kelim, by kelim, we don't necessarily say it's automatically muchon. Has to have significance, right? If it's insignificant, so therefore it's not going to be muchon. Hacha of madas Amar Tamon, that which Rabbi Yochanan said that anything which is be'ain, it's there explicitly prepared, even though you're not aware of it. It is ba'ochlin. It's specifically about foodstuffs. Okay, but truth in advertising, I should tell you that's more or less Korban Ezeb shot, and emotion seems to say the opposite. The Ridbaz is another shot. We shot so changes the Girsa completely. But I think that according to our Girsa, it is in front of us, that's the Shakabatari here. And the Kalim are different because a Kali has to have a Chashiva, so Eichoba has its, and therefore has to be designated before Shabbos. If it's not designated before Shabbos for permissible use, it's not considered muchan. Whereas ochel by very nature, intrinsically, it's going to be muchan, even if you're not aware of it. They're designated to be to designate. You don't have to give it significance. You don't have to have significance. If you give it significance, otherwise it could be like 18 Babonim if they are these kinds of insignificant kalim. Obviously, the word kalim is a little bit difficult, so a lot of people change the girsa, but it means objects as opposed to foodstuffs. Okay, so Heser and Nasser Hare Mukta Sheyavash, the Mukta which dried up, the Krokus to Mukim. V'lo Nagabo, which you didn't touch, Harehu Be'eno Ve'chono. It's there. it's and it's prepared before Shabbos, assuming that it dried before Shabbos, and it's still not Be'chono. So why are those different? So here we're going to change gears to the Korban Eda. Hocha Miktsasa. Here it's a miktsasa madiit martamon bekulan, and this explains the name because Eda Hocha B'Shemuktzah Shabbos Shabbos Lo Yaroy L'Shum Adam Shemasurim Koshis Yabshu. The uh, the the um, muktzah which got dry on Shabbos and wasn't suitable for anybody because before they get dry they are disgusting. And the Yochid say about where they were completely dried already and suitable. So he's saying that, and according to the Cormeda, now that we went over the Cormeda, I'm not so sure about it again, but he says that, well, it depends. You're right, if it's completely dry. So then it would be mutter if Yochid be matir and say that's going to be be'ain and muchan. Instead of where it's mikzasan, then it's partially part of it is dry, part of it not dry. In the dry part, it's still going to be nidche biyadayim because of no, it's really not what the name of the Cormier is saying. I'm really not happy with Cormier now to do it over again. He says it's royal mixed the other and not roy for all people. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Gillian Shots, which I see is what the article goes with as well, and reject Corbin Ada here for now. So, hey, so let's go back to the question. Hey, Tavinasare Muksa Shayavash Lona Gabo. So, Gillian Shots says, Azaik Shah, I Muksa Shayavash Lona Gabo, Vlado Bailam Shis Yabsh. The owners does not know that it was dried. Viliodo Lo Dochosai, they know they would not have rejected it. If you Achi Osir, nevertheless it's Osir. Valzem Mishani, and that it answers Hacha Kik Kalim, not big Kalim, but Kik Kalim. Hacha Kik Kalim, behind Hori Masrichos Kodem, since they become disgusting before they become suitable to eat. Ain't lame Torah Eichel, they don't have the status of Eichel, Klal, which goes to Rambam Sham, the Tamadover, the Ram writes there that why Okros came worse. Sham Beitza, etc. So kalim, and it's like kalim, uh, and therefore ma'id matamon. What Rabbi Yochanan said everything is muchar is ba'ochlin, with something which is completely always in the status of ochel, as opposed to these, because just like the mukin and the sheis bazru, they know this says that they know chashivas because they're not intrinsically ochel. They're They're objects, not food. Here too, the um, the Grosirim at the time when they're drawing, when they're mesrichos, they're like kalim. They don't have the intrinsic chashivas of food, and therefore they are not like other ochlim. Okay, um, yeah. Says the next Mishnah, you can carry a new candle which has not been used because it's not yet disgusting. An old candle, it's muktzah machmas mius. We talk about an ershel cheres, which gets disgusting. Let's use it. Rabbi Shimon says there's no muktzah, no such thing as muktzah machmas mius, and therefore you can carry any candle except for a candle which is actually burning on Shabbos while it's burning, because it's a basis dover usher, which is the flame of the candle. Okay, that brings us to the top of the next amud of Amud Beis Amnav, so we'll stop here for today.